The morning of the hearing felt strangely ordinary. Traffic moved slowly outside the courthouse. People carried coffee cups, phones rang, conversations drifted through hallways. Nothing about the day suggested it would mark the formal ending of a 17-year marriage. Rachel sat quietly beside her attorney and watched people pass through the corridor. She wasn't angry anymore. That phase had ended months earlier. What remained was exhaustion, the kind that arrives after years of trying to explain something to a person who no longer hears it. Across the room sat her husband. Soon to be her former husband. He appeared calm, professional, confident, much as he always had. That confidence had helped build a successful business. It had also become one of the reasons their marriage failed. The hearing itself wasn't particularly dramatic. Most divorces aren't. There were financial discussions, property evaluations, procedural matters, numbers, documents, timelines. The emotional reality of a marriage rarely fits neatly into legal language. For a while, everything proceeded routinely. Then the discussion shifted toward the growth of the company they had built during their marriage. Technically, it was his company. His name appeared on the documents. His face appeared in industry publications. His accomplishments attracted investors and clients. Nobody disputed that. The problem was what happened next. His attorney began describing the business's success. The language sounded familiar, too familiar. It was the same narrative Rachel had heard for years, the story of one visionary builder, one driving force, one architect. Then came a phrase that settled heavily in the courtroom. The attorney referred to Rachel's role as largely supportive in a personal capacity. Nothing cruel, nothing openly insulting. Yet something about it stung. Largely supportive, as if 17 years could be summarized in 2 words. Rachel lowered her eyes, not because she was ashamed, because she suddenly felt tired of hearing her life translated into a footnote. For years, she had managed payroll when the company couldn't afford an accountant, thickened scheduling, reviewed contracts, maintained client records, coordinated travel, managed household finances during uncertain periods, raised children while protecting the stability required for the business to grow. None of those things appeared on promotional brochures. Most happened quietly. Over time, even her husband seemed to stop noticing them. The attorney continued speaking. Each statement sounded reasonable on its own. Together, however, they created a version of history that felt incomplete. Rachel remained silent. Her attorney didn't interrupt, neither did the judge. The room simply absorbed the narrative. Then another witness was called, a forensic business analyst, a court-appointed professional tasked with evaluating company records and financial history. The woman approached the stand carrying several binders. The atmosphere changed immediately. Unlike emotional testimony, documentation tends to command attention. The analyst began answering questions, calmly, methodically, page numbers, dates, records, nothing dramatic. Then she described operational activity from the company's early years, names, client correspondence, vendor negotiations, Tinnell records. The details accumulated steadily, and a different picture began emerging. The analyst referenced years of communications conducted by Rachel, thousands of documented interactions, project coordination, contract preparation, financial tracking, administrative management, business continuity planning. The list continued. The courtroom grew noticeably quieter. Even Rachel seemed surprised by the scale of it. When you're living inside responsibility every day, it rarely feels remarkable. It just feels necessary. The analyst flipped another page. Many operational functions appear to have been performed by Mrs. Carter during critical growth periods. The statement wasn't emotional. It didn't need to be. Facts possess their own weight, she continued. The records indicate extensive involvement beyond what would typically be classified as informal support. Across the room, Rachel's husband stopped taking notes. For the first time that day, uncertainty appeared on his face, not hostility, recognition, as though he was seeing familiar years from an unfamiliar angle. The analyst wasn't elevating Rachel. She wasn't diminishing him either. She was simply describing what the documents showed. Reality, unedited. The hearing continued. Additional questions followed. More records surfaced. The narrative became increasingly difficult to simplify. Success had not emerged from one person's effort. It had grown from a complicated partnership, an imperfect one, but a partnership nonetheless. Later, the judge asked Rachel whether she wished to add anything. The room turned toward her. She thought carefully before speaking. For years, she had imagined this moment differently. In those imaginary versions, she delivered powerful speeches, exposed old wounds, listed sacrifices. None of that seemed important now. Instead, she spoke quietly. I don't believe I built the company alone. Her voice remained steady, but I don't believe I disappeared from it either. Silence followed. Not awkward silence, thoughtful silence, the kind that appears when simple narratives stop working. The hearing eventually ended. Documents were collected. People stood. Conversations resumed. Life moved forward. Outside the courthouse, Rachel stepped into the afternoon sunlight. The marriage was ending. That reality hurt. Some losses remained painful even when necessary. Yet as she walked toward her car, she noticed something unexpected. Relief, not because she had been proven right, not because anyone had lost, because she no longer felt responsible for defending her own existence inside someone else's version of the story. For years, she had waited for recognition, waited for someone to acknowledge what she contributed. The courtroom had provided something different, perspective. A reminder that value does not disappear simply because another person fails to see it. The marriage was over. But for the first time in a very long time, Rachel's understanding of herself no longer depended on whether anyone else agreed.